This is what my training week actually looked like. Last week hit me harder than I expected. I missed training sessions, not by choice, but by following advice from my physio. And even knowing it was the right call, it still brought back that here we go again feeling. If you're overweight and trying to make weight loss actually stick in real life, this is the part I'm learning the hard way. This week hasn't been the strongest week for my training. I had physio earlier on in the week. The physio recommended that I take a break for the first 4 days of the week, which took out my longer cycle. It also took out salsa dancing. Yeah, so from a training perspective, I didn't really end up having the most exciting of weeks. From a dietary side, things were definitely better. I was a bit more observant, I suppose I'd say, of how I was actually eating and the number of calories that I was consuming. My weight, I think, did fairly well this week. While I was doing or being so conscious of my my diet this week, I suppose it kind of really brought in something that I suppose that's, I don't know, close to me and how I've been throughout my younger years. Look, I'm going to show you some photographs of me while I was younger. On reflection, back then I used to think I was very overweight. When you're looking back on it, I wasn't that overweight, which is kind of disappointing when you look back at it. So I suppose, look, I wanted to bring this up because I think this is a real topic, and I think it is something that affects other people, just not just me. I suppose when I was younger, now look, when I say this, I don't think anyone meant any harm, but you know, even members of my family would slag me over my weight. I suppose I was young and I took it a lot to heart. Cruel people growing up. I had glasses and I suppose I was a small bit overweight. So I used to get called the likes of four eyes, and I used to get called fat. Not all the time, right? But you know, I was young, so anytime it did happen, it wasn't the most enjoyable of experiences. When I was that age, I kind of early started to feel like, you know, that's just me, that's who I am. I am a fat person, and I suppose mentally, that's kind of who I became. I was fat, I was overweight, and you know, that's just who I thought I was, right? If I look back at it now, I think if I had just spent the summer of doing a bit of fitness when I was younger, I could have drastically decreased my weight, increased my fitness, increased my confidence. Look, it would have made a huge difference to my life. But I suppose because it was people in my family, peers, you know, it affected me in such a way that I suppose I couldn't see the wood from the trees, and that's just kind of who I was. So then, look, I suppose I progressed on through my life with that mentality that, you know, I'm fat, that sure, look, there's no point. You know, that's who I am, that, you know, I'm a fat person. And look, I suppose I just wanted to say to people, because look, I think this is a real thing. Like, I know it's easier said than done most of the time, right? But don't let what other people say impact who you are. Just do what you can do and be the best person that you can be. It did drastically change who I was, and you know, I shouldn't have listened to him, and I'd probably be in a much fitter state now if I hadn't listened to them, right? So look, I suppose I just wanted to open with that, because look, it is a real thing, and it is something that does happen to people, and I hope that even me just saying this might help someone that's earlier on in their weight gain journey, and maybe it'll help you, right? So this week, guys, you know, I missed my longest cycle, which is kind of disappointing. A few kind of, I suppose, unavoidable things that happen in life happened, and I just wasn't able to get in my longer cycle this weekend. It was meant to be a 24-kilometer cycle, which I was kind of, look, I was a bit excited about doing it. You know, I was disappointed that I missed that longer cycle, but look, it is what it is, right? I'll do my longer cycle next weekend and everything will be back on track again. So what I kind of found was recording the videos was almost, I suppose, preventing me from having the time to do what I'm doing here now, which is cooking my meals. So what I've decided to do, I suppose, is just include it as part of my videos. So this week I'm cooking a Thai green curry and a tomato and red bell pepper and chili soup. I'll have the soup with sandwiches in the evening time. It's just quick, it's easy, don't really have to think about it. You throw an all sandwich together there in no time, and you're kind of full and you're satiated for the rest of the night. And the Thai green curry, look, I've cooked it a good few times, and to be honest, I think it's very nice. It's in the slow cooker, so it's quick and easy, like, right. Let me know how you're getting on as well, guys. You've been really good group of people. To everyone that's following me on Strava and to everyone that's leaving me the kind comments on YouTube, like, thanks very much for that. It does actually genuinely help, and it does actually kind of put me under a bit of pressure that I shouldn't be missing any cycles or anything like that, because I don't want to let you guys down. So probably could have done this in a more efficient way, but to be grand. The all green beans are handy. Take them and throw them in. There's actually a 50-kilometer cycle in Cork. I think it's in May of this year. So I'm actually going to sign up for that cycle, and I'm going to do it. Unfortunately, I don't really have any friends that cycle, so I'll be doing it myself. But look, I think it's a good thing for me to do. It's a nice milestone, right? So by May, I should be more than capable of cycling 50 kilometers. That'll probably be my first ever like real kind of long distance official cycle. That's the Thai green curry kind of done. I'm just going to put it on there now in the slow cooker. I think it's on for like 4 hours on high.